Welcome to this explainer on Bob Chapman's absolutely revolutionary approach to leadership. Look, for decades, the corporate world has been completely obsessed with rigid metrics, growth, margins, market share. But what if your business model itself could actually be a profound force for good? Today, we're unpacking the soul of stewardship to see how transforming your workplace actually transforms lives. Because as it turns out, humanity and profitability aren't enemies at all. They are incredibly powerful allies.
Okay, let's dive right into this by contrasting the traditional, pretty clinical view of employees with Chapman's massive paradigm shift. In standard corporate speak, people are just headcounts, right? They're labor to be used up. But Chapman had this realization that every single one of his 12,000 employees was somebody's precious child. Just think about that for a second. As a leader, you're responsible for the people placed in your care, almost like a parent. It completely obliterates that dehumanizing habit of treating people like mere functions for success.
And this reframing, it forces a really critical pivot. We have to stop asking what we can extract from our workforce and start asking what we're actively investing in them. Performance reviews suddenly become growth conversations. Restructuring means retraining, not just releasing people. Ultimately, that standard quarterly earnings call takes a backseat to one absolutely crucial driving question. Are our people thriving?
Now, to bridge the gap in traditional education, which, let's face it, usually obsesses entirely over academic and financial achievements, Barry-Wehmiller actually built an internal university to teach basic human skills. And the foundation of it all is empathetic listening. This isn't just hearing words. It's learning to pause, silence that internal rebuttal we all have, and truly listen to validate someone's worth without judging them or just waiting for your turn to debate. The second core discipline really translates this into reality, and that's recognition and celebration. Instead of always focusing on brokenness or handing out those generic 5-year work anniversary plaques, this is about catching people doing things right. It's highly specific. You don't just walk by and say, "Hey, good job." You specifically recognize Maria for the incredible patience and technical insight she showed while staying late to save the team from a major delay. And when you do that consistently, you're building the third core skill: a culture of service. This is where leaders stop demanding more production and start asking, hey, how can I actively clear obstacles for my team? It requires putting your ego totally aside. You have to shift your mindset from how can my team produce more for me to how can I help my team succeed? All right, get ready for the most astonishing twist in all of this. 95% of the feedback from these corporate classes revealed that these skills actually improved employees' marriages and relationships with their kids. I mean, that insight is just massive. It proves that leadership development literally is life development. If you teach a manager to listen without judgment at the office, you're building a better parent, spouse, and friend at home. So this creates a really profound ripple effect out into the world. Poor leadership doesn't just stay at the office. It's a silent killer that spikes cortisol and erodes cardiovascular health. But on the flip side, employees who feel valued return home with the actual energy to be fully present. Chapman framed it perfectly as a moral liability. If your leadership makes a parent too exhausted or anxious to read a bedtime story or play catch with their kid, you haven't just failed an employee, you've failed an entire household. Now, the real crucible for this philosophy was the 2008 recession. While other companies were out there using layoffs just to balance the books, which Chapman viewed as a massive failure of stewardship, by the way, Barry-Wehmiller utilized shared sacrifice instead. They mandated furloughs, reduced executive pay, and cut non-essential spending to maintain this no-layoff psychological safety net. And because everyone felt safe, people weren't distracted by the primal fear of losing their livelihoods, and innovation actually flourished. To silence the cynics out there who might dismiss people-first leadership as mushy or overly idealistic, let's look at the hard numbers. Providing a place where people feel safe and can be their best selves resulted in 12% compounded share price growth over 25 years. That consistently outperformed the S&P 500. So, attracting unbelievable talent and fostering generations of devoted employees isn't just a nice thing to do, it is incredibly good for business.
Now that we see the undeniable impact on both human lives and the bottom line, let's explore putting stewardship into practice through individual action.
Because stewardship isn't just some abstract theory, it requires specific daily habits. You can start literally today by auditing your language. If you call people costs, well, you're going to treat them like costs. Call them team members. Next, try holding weekly 30-minute listening sessions.
And here's the catch: no agendas, no problem solving, just listening. You can also practice daily recognition roulette, finding quiet acts of integrity to reward with a specific handwritten note. Finally, share the real financial numbers transparently and model vulnerability. Actually admit when you don't know something or apologize when you make a mistake. But of course, true stewardship goes beyond individual habits. We have to look at organizational culture and systemic change. We must scale this philosophy from personal actions directly into our corporate systems and metrics. This means fundamentally rewiring the whole system. Organizations have to evaluate not just what employees achieve, but how they achieve it, baking empathy and collaboration right into annual reviews. You build trust by designing crisis protocols with a no layoff option way before a downturn even hits. You should start tracking life impact metrics to see if work actually gives people energy for their personal lives, and routinely rotate executives through frontline roles to break down that rigid hierarchy and ground their decisions in operational reality. Furthermore, and this is super important, pay close attention to how you handle transitions. When someone leaves, whether it's voluntarily or through restructuring, you absolutely must celebrate their departure with dignity. Treat the exit like a graduation. Give them outplacement support, glowing references, and a genuine farewell. Why? Because reputation precedes you. How you treat the person walking out the door tells your current employees everything they need to know about their own safety and their own future. Ultimately, this whole approach represents a massive cultural shift that challenges entrenched corporate dogma. We are moving away from the old, tired model of shareholder primacy, where profit is the one and only goal, and moving towards stakeholder interdependence. Chapman proved that when you truly nurture the roots and care for your people, financial success is just the natural fruit it bears. Profitability and humanity are not opposites, guys. They are deeply aligned allies. To ensure this culture actually outlasts a single visionary leader, it has to reach the boardroom. Employee well-being has to be a standing agenda item, treated with the exact same rigor as financial performance. And when it comes to succession planning, leaders shouldn't be promoted based solely on operational results. Promotion should hinge on one singular, deeply revealing question: who has flourished under their watch? So we leave you with this profound moral invitation from Bob Chapman's legacy. The greatest act of charity isn't a giant check written to a nonprofit. It's the environment you create for the people you lead every single day. The soul of stewardship is that quiet, everyday choice to see the person in front of you as an end in themselves. By redefining a company's true product as its people, we literally have the power to heal the world, one workplace at a time. So take a look at your own team today and ask yourself, are you just managing headcounts? Are you actively investing in the precious lives placed in your care?